What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel. And if you guys are new, welcome. We are cruising towards 1,500 subscribers. All thanks to you guys. I truly appreciate that support and everything that you guys do for the channel. So thank you guys so much. Now here in today's video, we are going over another build for you guys on our Warlock for Solar 3.0, mixing it in with that Stasis as well, calling this the Shoto Todoroki build from My Hero Academia. It's quite the banger. I love Agers Scepter. I barely use the Dawnblade Super just because I consume it and use that Agers with that charged up mode. First off, right here, we're going to go over our aspects, fragments, and our just subclass in general. So we are going to be running our nice old Dawnblade so we can throw those nice solar projectiles around, doing a decent amount of damage with one of our fragments that we have on with those ignites. For abilities here, we're running our healing rift so that we can stay alive consistently with running that 100 resilience and 100 recovery. Super nice for handling our rifts all the time. I go with balance glide so we can just keep our jump normal, nothing too crazy with that. Incinerator snaps right here, super fun for me to use this. I think it's a more interesting way to apply that scorch to targets instead of our normal old 3 celestial fire, which this does probably do a little bit more damage, but I think this AoE effect scorches more enemies and works well for how we built out this right here. I'm going to go with solar grenades so we can get that addition to the scorch as well as our aspect over here. With solar grenades, increases the duration of them, and they periodically emit blobs of lava around in the perimeter. So it's a nice way to deal that extra damage and defeat those extra enemies inside of that perimeter with those lava bloops exploding out from it. The other aspect we are going to be using is Icarus Dash so we can dodge while airborne. Now this is more for the extra fragment slots, and I really don't think Heat Rising is that great unless you're using it inside a Crucible. The PvE realm, not the most ideal, but you can build it out around that specifically. Moving on to our fragments here. First off, we have Ember of Combustion, so final blows with our super cause those ignites, how I was talking about before. When we do use our Dawnblade and hit those targets, they will explode, causing a little bit of extra damage and scorch around the area. Next off, we have Ember of Eruption. Your solar ignitions have an increased area of effect. This is going to apply to our super as well as our snap or our melee and as well as our grenades. So it's super nice to have that a little bit extra explosion when we ignite those targets. Next off, we have Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants us melee energy, which is super nice because we are applying that scorch a few different ways. And with the snap, like I said, I think it applies scorch a lot better than the actual celestial fire does. So this will be nice to just get that snap back even faster. And then we're pairing it with Sunbracers, so we are going to have grenades all the time as well. Now right here we have Ember of Torches. Our powered melee attacks against combatants make us and nearby allies radiant, which is nice because we get extra damage for our weapons that we will be using, which is super nice because we're going to be using some nice banging weapons as well. For our weapons here, we're going to go with 2 Stasis weapons as well as our Incandescent Callus mini tool to help spread that scorch around via that incandescent and this mini tool so we can get our melee back even faster, giving us grenades back with our Sunbracers. But really the king of the weapons is this Agers Scepter right here, so we can freeze targets across the map. Super good with damage as well. When we have our super full, we can consume it and then basically supercharge that weapon, and it continuously freezes whoever you're shooting. So with the mods that we have this season and just in general, Agers is good, but having those nice trace rifle mods for this season make it even better because we can spend less of our energy on our armor pieces. Coming in for our heavy, I'm going to be using the Palmera B actually because of Hake Breach armaments. Those will do more damage against the stasis crystals that we are creating via our Agers Scepter, and when we are getting direct hits with Chill Clip, it is also slowing and freezing targets around it as well. So we have that perfect combination of fire and ice with this build, just like Shoto Todoroki. Going over our armor pieces here, we're going to have our Trace and Rocket Scavenger for our Palmera B and our Agers, along with Enduring Wells. So the solar elemental wells that we will be creating will have extended lifespan because of this mod. Right here, we're going to be using 2 impact inductions, so causing damage with our melee attack reduces our grenade cooldown. So every time we snap with these Sunbracers, they will be giving us a nice grenade cooldown. And we're using Wall of Ordnance, so picking up those solar elemental wells also grants us grenade energy, so it's almost immediately that we'll be getting grenades back based on these without the addition of the Sunbracer perk, which is our solar grenades burn longer and our melee kills give us infinite grenade energy for a short period of time. So I can throw up to 3, 4, or 5 solar grenades at a time when I get that exotic perk on the Sunbracers to proc. It is super crazy watching all the solar grenades around with those little blops of lava doing that AoE, doing damage on even bosses because there's so many of them. It is super great for a little bit of everything. Right here, because like I said with our seasonal mods, we have Trace Rifle reserves, so our Agers Scepter can hold so much of that energy ammo or special ammo, and it's super nice that it costs only a few energy instead of its normal 3 or 4. And then on top of that, again, we're going to have solar wells being produced via melee well maker. So when our snap does defeat a target, we're going to spawn a solar elemental well, and picking that up once again will give us grenade energy via Well of Ordnance on our Sunbracers. Now on our legs here, we're going to have Trace Rifle Scavenger again to complement Agers Scepter, so we can keep freezing those targets everywhere. So ad management is super easy with this build. And then we're going to have Elemental Ordnance just because of how many solar grenades that we're going to have. This Elemental Ordnance is going to create solar elemental wells for us all over the place, just basically once again refunding our grenade energy instantly. Last but certainly not least, here we have our class item that once again is having mods that give us some crazy class energy back on it, as well as classy restoration. So when we cast our Rift down, we're also going to get restoration, which makes us also very tanky inside of this build with 100 resilience. And then again, we're going to have Well of Ordnance, so the solar elemental wells grant us grenade energy. And when we use our class ability via Bomber, it pairs perfectly with Classy Restoration. We're going to get grenade cooldown to increase as well. So once again, the amount of grenades, as you can see behind us in the gameplay, going through this lost sector, you can huck these things around willy-nilly like, and when you get your snap to connect and create that scorch and final blows on your enemies, it just instantly refills your grenade, and you can throw, like I said, about 3 or 4 on average. If you can get everything like I have here to proc at once with all those solar wells, I'm throwing 5, 6 just consistently, and it's crazy, like I said, for the ad management especially. But even with consuming our super with Agers, freezing those bosses, and then throwing 3 or 4 solar grenades, super easy way to do a lot of damage on bosses. And then to back it up, we do have our rocket with Chill Clip that creates that nice little stasis effect as an AoE with Chill Clip on those direct impacts. So this build is just super fun for me, and I love to come up with these and figure out different ways to make them out. I know there's a lot of creators making kind of similar builds, but there's only so many combinations of everything that we can build out. And I just like how this sets up with the stasis combination of all of the stasis crystals via Agers, and then adding that solar 3.0 effect of Sunbracers with the incandescent mini tool. all those snaps, the scorch ignitions we're gonna have is super fun. Like I said, that's what this game is about, having fun, using what you like to use. So definitely, Warlocks, give this boy a try. Sunbracers, definitely always been a super good PvE, even PvP exotic back in the day. But right now with Solar 3.0, being able to throw all of those solar grenades around is perfect. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this build. Definitely give it a try out. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.